So I just got back from Ghost in the Shell, and I thought it was a decent, if forgettable time, which is fine. Hang on before you dick slap me for shit taste and get triggered over Scarlett Johansson, hear me out. Let me tell you what I didn't like about the film before I get into the positive stuff. First and foremost, this movie feels hollow. You can tell that 90% of the people involved in this film actually cared, which is a shame since apparently the scriptwriter was not part of that 90%. A lot of the dialogue just felt really stilted, and I guess some of that has to do with the acting, but I also just found a good chunk of it to be flat and unable to keep my interest. Back up to what I just said about acting. Most of it was serviceable, but for the love of God, Michael Pitt as Kuze was absolute dog shit. I haven't seen him in anything else, so I really don't have anything to go on, but Jesus Christ, he was genuinely awful. Which is even more unfortunate considering the weight of a lot of the emotional parts of the movie relied nearly solely on him. It was like he did a take of a scene and director Rupert "I fucked Kristen Stewart and then she became a lesbian" Sanders pulled him aside and was like, "Okay, that was pretty good, but this time act more edgy like you're in a high school drama class playing the part of Ponyboy Curtis in your civic theater production of The Outsiders." Shit! Also, Beat Takeshi is Beat Takeshi, so I really can't complain, but you can tell for the majority of the movie he just didn't give a fuck. He was really just there for the Hollywood bucks, and that was pretty much it. Also, the pacing of this movie was sort of off. Not Lone Ranger bad, but there were certainly some scenes that I felt could have been cut, and it would have made absolutely no difference to the movie's overall tone and plot. Speaking of plot, the first 2/3 of the film is easily the best part, and then the climax of the movie is some cliched shit. Like, oh look, another story about evil corporations altering somebody's memories, and that somebody starts to remember and then tries to take the corporation down. Bleh, it's boring. It's okay to take a worn formula and adapt it to something fresh, but you have to also bring something new to the table in order to do that, and this film didn't really have it. Basically, you could say that this film is a ghost of its former self. I'm sorry. Now on to what I actually liked about the movie, which is actually a lot more than you might think after all that bitching. You're gonna hear this from everybody else who talks about this movie, but it looks goddamn amazing. The visual effects are top notch, the cinematography is absolutely jaw-dropping at some points, and it's such a treat. I've only ever seen the 1995 film. Okay, alright, calm down. Don't crucify me, I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch all 50-something episodes of Standalone Complex and then all those movies in the OVA series as well, okay? Look, it's on my list and I was gonna get the Blu-ray re-release, but apparently Anchor Bay decided they wanted to take an absolute steaming shit on it and now I don't want it. It's on my list and I'll get to it. Jesus. Anyway, the 1995 film has that 90s anime look of being incredibly gray and washed out in its colors, and this live-action adaptation completely fixes that. What can I say, I'm a simple man and I like pretty colors. Also, the action scenes were fantastic. No shaky cam shit, no horrendous CGI, it was beautiful. Although there was one short scene around halfway through that nearly gave me a fucking epileptic seizure in the middle of the theater, but I think that was the point, kinda to disorient you, so I guess it worked? I don't know. The soundtrack was really well done too. Clint Mansell is a fantastic composer and he really has some good work in this film. It's mostly original music, but if you listen close you'll be rewarded by hearing some snippets of the original soundtrack in there too. And that was pretty cool. Now for everything I've said, let me tell you why I think this movie is absolutely essential for some people. This film, for all of its issues, which there are many of, still holds together as a halfway decent Hollywood blockbuster. And that right there is the whole reason I consider it to be a success. If it can get more people to take anime seriously as a medium, then bingo, mission accomplished. Do I recommend that you watch 2017's Ghost in the Shell? Well, I'm gonna have to break this up into two parts. If you're not an anime fan, yes, go see it. If you are an anime fan, it's up to you. Well, that's it for me. Go check out my other reviews if you liked what you saw here, and consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if I hear one more person complaining about whitewashing, I'm gonna cut somebody's head off. Easy out.